7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everyone. It is a beautiful night tonight, beautiful day. Glad you all came inside to join us. All right, we do have a public hearing. Number one, hold a public hearing for the purpose of receiving comments to a request for a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale and consumption of alcohol for consumption within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners event weekend at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. So do we hear a motion?
Second.
Motion Baldwin, second Deaton, that we open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Public hearing is open if you'd like to come forward on this item. Seeing no one coming forward, is there a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Motion Shute, second McNear. We close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Abstained? Public hearing is closed. We'll now move to public comments. At this time, members of the public are welcome to use this time to make comments about city matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. If you wish to come forward, please state your name and address for the record. Your comments through the time clock to your left. And the podium is now open. All right, so no one coming forward. We'll move to consent agenda. Is there an item on the consent agenda we'd like to remove? Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion McNair, second Shute. We approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Consent agenda passes. No planning and zoning consent, no committee recommendations, no old business. New business item number one, consider a request for a waiver of the distance limitation and a temporary permit to allow for the sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners event weekend at the Johnson County Fairground. Clerk.
Okay, so this is a request for a waiver of the distance and temporary permit. This time, this is different for the Abdallah Shriners. They are going to serve mixed drinks. So they have already been in contact with the Kansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Division and gotten a temporary permit. So we just need to approve for them to have a waiver of the distance and a temporary permit from us for their event for the Shriners Rodeo and Demo Derby, which is going to be June 12th through June 14th, and they're going to have that from 5 to 11 every night.
All right, thank you, Renee. Councilor, do you have any questions on this item?
Have we ever had mixed drinks served before? Because
No.
usually it's always just beer and wine, right?
Correct, this is new.
Any concern from the PD for mixed drinks as opposed to beer and wine?
No.
I mean,
Yes, but no. Alcohol is alcohol.
Exactly. I don't think so. I think it'll be the same,
okay.
hopefully.
Have they been in contact with you at all about supporting with the Gardner force, or are they gonna have their own security, or?
I believe that they asked for 4 off-duty. I've been dealing with some other stuff the last couple days, and I know the email came through, and Captain Hayes is working on it, but I do believe that they've asked for 4.
Yeah, and I know the first year that they did the beer garden, that the county sheriff made them do, I think, 12 additional deputies over there.
Okay.
So, because the first year they wanted to do it because of the proposal for how many they didn't do it, and then they accounted for it the next year. So there will be additional people there.
And this group has always been responsible in the past, so,
Yes, this is not a group we've had issues with.
okay.
We've had those groups too.
I just,
Yeah.
it's different, just want to make sure.
Oh, no. That's why Steve can't have graduation party.
All right. Do I hear a motion for this item?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion Deaton, second Shute. We approve a request for a waiver of the distance limitation and a temporary permit to allow for the sale and consumption of cereal and malt beverages within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners Rodeo and Demo Derby to be held June 12th through June 14th, 2025 at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, 136 East Washington Street. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? New business item number 1 passes. New business item number 2, consider an ordinance levying and assessing special assessments on certain lots, pieces, and parcels of land liable for such special assessments to pay the cost of improvements in the city of Gardner, as authorized by resolution number 2170 of the city, Tuscan Farm Phase 1B Special Benefit District. Matt Wolf.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. On April 21st, 2025, Council approved a petition for Tuscan Farm LLC for the formation of a special benefit district for construction of Tuscan Farm Phase 1B infrastructure improvements. Council adopted resolution number 2170, authorizing the improvements in accordance with Kansas statutes. The attached ordinance levies a maximum assessment of $849,000 for the benefit district improvements. If construction costs are lower than estimated, the amount of assessments against the property will be correspondingly reduced. It is staff's recommendation that you adopt the proposed ordinance.
Thank you, Matt. Is there any public comment for new business item number 2? Seeing none. Council, do you have any questions on this item? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion Deaton, second McNair. We adopt ordinance number 2837, an ordinance levying and assessing special assessments on certain lots, pieces, and parcels of land liable for such special assessments to pay the cost of improvements in the city of Gardner, Kansas, as authorized by resolution number 2170 of the city of Tuscan Farm Phase 1B Special Benefit District. City Clerk.
As it turns out, the short term, obviously that's because of the economic uncertainty, correct? So there may be an opportunity to refi in the very near future if rates continue to have downward pressure, which is what I'm hearing, so.
And as rates do move, we keep track of those rates.
Yep.
And then what the city has for debt, where you're eligible, we'll bring it right back to the process. Absolutely.
I also found the temp notes, it was interesting that the temp notes actually went for a lower rate than the GOs, which seems to be a little bit backwards, but.
Yeah, a week ago we sold, it was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Temporary was 4%, this one's,
Yeah,
this is a market I don't think, we've been doing this 30 years, I actually haven't seen this different market at all.
yeah, it's weird to see that kind of inversion, that's the thing. So, well, it's good to hear that that the market was robust, we had 10 bids, that's really, really positive, so let's just keep it up and hopefully we can get some more pleasant surprises going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. We'll move to motion for new business item number 3 then.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Shoot, second McNair. We adopt ordinance number 2838, an ordinance authorizing the issuance and delivery of $27,680,000 principal amount of general obligation bonds, Series 2025A of the city of Gardner, Kansas.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Ween.
Yes.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2838 passes. And then,
We have 2 more.
yeah, 2 more very similar. So new business item number 4, consider a resolution prescribing the form and details of and authorizing the delivery of $27,680,000 principal amount of general obligation bonds, Series 2025A of the city of Gardner, Kansas, previously authorized by the ordinance of the city. Is there a motion for this item?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second McNair. We adopt resolution 2171. Resolution prescribing the form and details of and authorizing the delivery of $27,680,000 principal amount of general obligation bonds, Series 2025A of the city of Gardner, Kansas, previously authorized by an ordinance of the city.
Councilmember Deaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Ween.
Yes.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Resolution 2171 passes. And finally, new business item number 5, consider adopting a resolution authorizing the issuance and delivery of $725,000 principal amount of general obligation temporary notes, Series 2025B of the city of Gardner, Kansas. Is there a motion for this?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Baldwin. We adopt resolution number 2172, a resolution authorizing the issuance and delivery of $725,000 principal amount of general obligation temporary notes, Series 2025B of the city of Gardner, Kansas.
Councilmember Ween.
Yes.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Dean.
Yes.
Resolution 2172 passes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Matt, your team.
Yeah, excellent work,
Good,
as always.
as always. New business item number 6. Consider a recommendation to authorize additional funding for Unit 2 inspection upgrade. Don?
It's been good news up until this point.
Yeah, come on, Gons.
Don't mess up now.
No pressure.
So, I basically requesting additional funding for completing the Unit 2 upgrade. City Council approved $3.7 million. During the initial field inspection, we had defined 2 critical components that needed some additional work. One was the generator rotor. If you're not familiar with the generator rotor, it's basically like a permanent magnet that rotates and induces voltage on the stator, and that produces your power. Without a rotor, we cannot actually produce any generation. So the rotor has a lot of components. One of them is the copper bars that are embedded in the actual rotor armature. That's what we call a coil. But they are actually copper bars, several of them. They're embedded in the armature. That armature, that coil is retained by a wedge and insulation. So that keeps the coil from coming apart during operation. Then the other part of the rotor is the ends of retaining rings. The purpose of the retaining ring is to keep all your coils on the ends of the rotor in one place. And the other thing that was identified was the collector rings that brings the excitation to produce the magnet on the rotor, that the collector rings were pitted and contaminated. So there is so much that can be done in the field. So the rotor was shipped to, I think, to New York, where the retaining rings were removed. Part of the inspection was to analyze the retaining rings, and they found some corrosion and some cracking. That means that if we leave the retaining ring as is, there is a possibility that they can come apart during operation. That will damage the rotor and the stator. So the estimated repair cost was for the rotor $675,575. The other piece of component is the accessory gearbox. The gearbox contains gears and pinions that will drive your main oil pump, your water pump, and it's also used for starting your gas turbine. Again, without the accessory gearbox, you cannot cannot start the gas turbine. So after a lot of discussion with APG, it was decided to rebuild the gearbox. The original quote was for a lead time of 20 weeks that will delay the outage more than that is needed. But they were able to expedite the repairs 15 weeks for $480,102. So those are your 2 components of both ends that need to be repaired. During the budget retreat, I estimated 1.2. I was a bit off, but we're close to that number. In addition, since the upgrade will be completed by the end of May, APG will have to come back in August to align the gearbox to the turbine. That's the $36,000 that is additional. In addition, also the gas meter replacement is needed to measure the gas flow to ensure that we're getting the necessary output due to the upgrade. So that was something that was not anticipated. So if we add all the different estimated costs plus a 5% contingency, recommending if we asking City Council to authorize additional fundings for $1,278,414.
Thank you, Gotts. Is there any public comment? New business item number 6. Council, do you have questions on this?
Yeah, coming out of capital, correct, the electric capital fund, I'm assuming?
I think it's coming out of,
Or is it you?
Normal
Yeah,
Electric.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so it's not coming from development, it's coming from the actual electric. Okay, thank you. You said 1.2, it's 1.27. I think we kind of knew the sticker shock before today, so I'm all right with it. I feel like it's an awful lot, including with the addition of the 3 million that we were already talking about. That's a big cost for a unit that doesn't generate full replacement power. So this is it though. This is the last of the changes that we're looking to implement.
That's why I put a 5% contingency just in case.
Of course. All right.
Remind me now, we're doing this to unit number 2. Are we doing anything to unit number 1?
So once we get the gearbox in place, we need to do a performance test. Based on that results, I will make a recommendation if we need to proceed do the same thing on unit 1 or not. So there's a lot of money that was not anticipated during the original proposal.
Is that yet another site visit?
Excuse me?
Is that an additional site visit as well?
Additional site.
By the contractor?
So the upgrade on unit 1 has not been approved by City Council. So I'll make a recommendation once we do the performance test on unit number 2.
Do you anticipate the same cost overruns on unit 1?
So the unit 1 was overhauled in 2001. There were no issues on the generator nor in the gearbox. Sorry, the accessory gearbox. Unit 2, they rewound the generator rotor in 2002. They did some work on the gearbox in 2013. So I'm speculating that probably we'll find problems with unit number 1.
We will.
So it'll be about another 1.2, if not more. Or maybe we won't find anything on unit number 1. I couldn't tell you.
24 years, probably not.
I feel like we specifically asked for good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we knew this news was
two
coming.
main things. The pitting and contamination. Is that just from moisture, or do we have something else that we need to be looking into?
I'm pretty sure that's due to moisture.
Okay. And is that because of our short run times, at times that we're not getting enough heat in there to?
So the unit was overhauled in 2002. So between 2002 and 2025, we had 800 hours of operation. 400 starts, so about 2 hours per start. So we replaced a motor control center, so we should have adequate supply and heaters on the generator and the generator compartment to keep it nice and dry during cold temperatures.
Okay. And then, because of this unexpected stuff, does that put us in any issue with KMEA for 15 more weeks of getting it up and running?
So we'll get penalized for June, July, and part of August.
For capacity?
they have an E4, which takes into account the hours you were not available. It's a 5-year average, so we'll probably get hit with some kind of penalty.
Do you have any idea how big that would be?
Right now, the penalty is that instead of, let's say, you have a 20% E4 and your unit is rated at 20 megawatts, you get penalized 20% of 20, so that's 4 megawatts. So you'll be able, they'll give you credit for 16 and not 20 megawatts. That's how it works. How does it work? Now, the actual E4 ruling has not been set yet, but we're following it as if it was going to be implemented within the next year or two. It may not be an issue, but better be safe than sorry.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion for new business item number 6?
So moved.
Second.
No one wanted to be first. Motion Alderman, second Deaton. We authorize additional funding for Unit 2 inspection upgrade in the amount of $1,278,414. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There's cool pictures. Yeah.
Thank you.
New business item number 6 passes. Thank you, guys. New business item number 7, consider approving an amended ordinance raising the permit fee for fireworks sales and establishing times for the sale of fireworks in the city of Gardner.
So an ad hoc committee was formed. Honestly, I think Mark Ween and Jennifer Smith are the only members I know. That other people were in and out, but they reviewed our ordinance and we're looking for ways to improve our communication and the experience for people in Gardner. They came up with 2 recommendations. One is to raise the permit fee to $1,500, which is a raise of $500. Those funds can be used to help mitigate some of the purchase of items for sound-sensitive individuals and what we buy for animals and things like that. Our fee was relatively low anyway. We usually have 8 to 12 stands, so it will raise $4,000 or $5,000 additional money that we can spend for signage and some of those other things. The other change was to clarify the times of day when the sale of fireworks is permitted. It aligns with when the discharge is permitted. Before, we were letting sales go to midnight, discharge ends at 11, so this kind of aligns it back to what the discharge is. Recommend adopting ordinance 2839, raising the permit fee for fireworks sales and establishing times when the sale of fireworks is permitted in the city of Gardner.
Thank you, Jim. Any public comment?
Is that
Ad hoc.
okay?
Ad hoc, Jennifer.
Did I miss anything?
No.
All right.
Yeah, so I do thank the people that have helped on that. So,
Yeah.
Mark, Jennifer, Pam, and others.
And we created a new campaign. Be a good
Yes,
neighbor.
be a good neighbor. Yeah, and I think actually it's good for other stuff too. It'll be good. So. Okay, is there any comments or questions on this?
I just want to say, I think this is great in the sense that the thing that's causing these people difficulty is going to pay for support for them. Right?
Mhm.
Raise some money that they can use for, the gummies for the dogs or the headphones or whatever we come up with that would be useful for them. Right? It's not something over here had to take care of this. Self-contained. I love that. So, good job to the committee.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I'll kind of piggyback real quick. It's good to hear those inventive suggestions coming from folks who are being affected. And thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate your assistance on this. I know this is near and dear to your heart, and we're trying to mitigate those issues, so thank you.
It's just heartwarming to kind of see that the process actually works to the benefit of the public. So I think everything worked out pretty well. Thanks again.
Have we gotten any permit applications yet?
One.
One.
And we've had it for a while.
Okay.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, I think Mark should have gotten it.
Oh, Mark.
Mark, we gotta let Mark.
No, let Mark make the
I'm
motion.
gonna defer to Mark.
Let Mark make the motion. You're right.
City clerk did not hear that.
Mark, make the
Mark,
motion.
make the motion.
So moved.
All right. And I'll second that.
Motion Ween, second Shoot,
She's
I
not
think. That we adopt ordinance 2839, an ordinance amending section 9.05.030 of the Gardner Municipal Code, raising the permit fee for fireworks sales and establishing times when the sale of fireworks is permitted in the city of Gardner. City clerk.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Dean.
Yes.
Councilmember Ween.
Yes.
Ordinance 2839 passes. Actually, I had one quick follow-up question. The money that's raised, is that, how do we account for that? Or how do we keep that separate, or?
We can track it through a project.
Okay, all right, very good.
You mean like the one the federal government doesn't put in?
Oh,
I just don't want it to get mixed in. But,
don't compare us to the feds, please.
We're much better than that.
We're much better.
all right. Okay, we have executive session, so.
Do we?
Yeah, do we want to do council updates first?
Oh, okay.
At least with staff, maybe. Okay, let's do council updates first. Yeah, chief?
I was wrong about the Shriners. They have not reached out to us yet. Our community policing officer, our officer system, has reached out to them just in anticipation of this event. Typically, they do wait till kind of the last minute, and we are prepared for that. I was thinking about a car show that's going to happen at another location. They recently asked for 4 off-duty, so I got confused. But typically, we work this with the county, as CA Pruding said, and I think it'll be okay.
Thank you.
I don't know.
City clerk, Renee?
I didn't have anything tonight.
Matt, finance?
Nothing more tonight.
City attorney?
Nothing for me.
Gons?
Nothing more for tonight.
Jason?
Nothing for parks.
Oh, sorry. You, Ms. Brewster, sorry.
Nothing from community development.
Pointing that direction, that's why I was like, sorry.
We usually pick on whoever's in that seat, just so you know.
Buzzer there.
I mean,
Nice to have you here, man.
Yes, welcome. Kellen?
Nothing.
So just letting everybody know, the mayor and I will not be at the next council meeting. We'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada, at a conference, so. At ICSC.
Well.
Baldwin, it's your time to shine.
let's talk budget.
I think there is a budget.
It's the entertainment's not covered. Okay, so just letting you know.
We need an extra officer.
Anything else? Oh, do we want to do council updates?
For us.
Yeah.
Let McNair.
Councilman McNair?
I mean,
Oh, Jim?
do you have anything first before?
Not before executive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just want to say thanks to Gons for all the hard work and trying to keep the cost down. It's sort of like taking your car in for an oil change and finding out the oil pump's gone. So good job.
That's about right.
Councilmember Shute?
Yeah, we joke a lot about the finance team. Sometimes we get, I kind of think of Matt as like my little brother here, but he's a state nationally recognized finance person. We are lucky to have him and lucky to have his team. And the fact that we're able to get the kind of results we're getting out of these bond sales speaks volumes for the finance team's work, and in particular Matt's leadership. So I just wanted to call you out again in a great way, because I don't think I've ever been in a situation where we've had a bond sale where we haven't been below what the original projection was, and that is just huge. That's huge for the city and huge for your ability that shows your ability to get that job done. So excellent work.
You want to pass on the compliments to my staff?
Absolutely.
About your little brother?
The other one.
Yeah, but excellent, just excellent work. Yeah.
They can make a follow.
Councilman Wing?
Is there any appetite to relook at the ordinance around solicitation permits again? I know we just changed it, but it just seems like there's a lot more, I don't know.
There's a lot of folks out there.
There,
There's a lot of folks out there, yeah.
yeah, but also a lot, maybe some complaints. I don't know if there's a discussion that we should have around it, or if there's no consensus that we would have.
Have we been getting any formal complaints to the PD about solicitors?
We had a lot of phone calls over the solar panel
Okay.
issues, and honestly, Kathy took a lot of the calls, but I could hear what she was saying. There was a lot of questions about, do they need to have a permit? Is there anything we can do? Things like that. People were generally concerned, and we had a lot of people that called and said, I have signs posted, and so we went out to try to find who did that, but we didn't take it to anybody.
We've had examples of folks like not only coming to people's doors but going into their yards and taking pictures, and that's a big no-no to me.
I think one of our biggest things when we chose to stop doing the permits was the false sense of security, because the background checks weren't very complete. So that's my only concern, is I don't want to go back to that situation.
And even if we had the permit in place, right? PD has to go find them, chase them down.
Yeah.
And then if they're gone or whatever, what are you gonna do? It's kind of like the fireworks, right? You're hoping that people do a good job on their own. If they don't, maybe we catch them, maybe we don't.
I think from my standpoint, it's more about, you're trying to at least at least get the thought, or to drive the right behavior, right? I mean, you're saying, hey, you do need to get a permit. There are some that are going to get the permit. I mean, we're never going to stop, anybody from going out there and just knocking on doors. And I mean, I agree that we maybe now don't get everybody. We're not going to get everybody to get a permit, and it's not going to stop all the other behavior. It's just, I mean, I'm curious if we wish to look at it any differently, or if there are not any ideas and we want to keep it rolling. That I'm good with that too. I just thought it's worth bringing up.
I don't think there's any
Unless-
difference that will come up what we have now, one way or the other. I don't care if you have a permit or not, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think either way, the same people that would show up to get the permit and abide by no soliciting signs are the same ones that'll do it today, with or without the permit process. The same ones that if they even go get a permit, they might be like, whatever, right? I'll get my 300 houses today and move on, and I don't care. So, or not go get the permit in the first place. So I don't think it makes a difference one way or the other, to be honest.
And maybe to tie onto that, Mark, the people that would sign up for a permit, go through the process, are the very people you do not have to generally ever worry about. The people that would not sign up for the process are the very ones that are causing the issues that we're seeing here. So, we're kind of at the mercy of people being reasonable and being respectful when they do solicit.
I'm never opposed to relooking at things. I just don't know if anything has significantly changed enough to utilize staff time to.
And that's kind of where I'm at. I
Yeah.
mean, if there isn't, and it doesn't sound like there's enough of consensus that there would be any difference to what we decided the last time. I'm in agreement with that. So.
Can I ask a question? Someone pointed out that they were kind of annoyed they were coming around and said they had no soliciting. They said the neighborhood also has no soliciting signs posted. I said, I don't think there's much.
No, there's some like HOA posted signs.
It was in out by Celebration.
Symphony Farm.
Symphony Farms.
Oh, there's a brand new sign up that says a no soliciting, and then right underneath it says no distribution of materials. Never seen that. Is that a town?
Is
That
that
was
just
it.
for show, or is there any teeth to that?
I don't think there is.
Well, our ordinance talks about posting of the signs at a residence dwelling or apartment.
Right. The entrance to 70 Farms doesn't qualify.
So it might dissuade
It might
some
dissuade.
people, yeah, but,
That's kind of what I
Yeah,
said.
it might dissuade the
Usually-
people that were probably going to do a good job in the first place.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Is that something that maybe if people, because I know we recently changed not having a permit, should we, now that it's warmer and more solicitors are out there, should we do some Facebook posts and some things like that, kind of re-explaining that we don't have a permit process, but they do still have to follow the no soliciting signs, and just kind of an education
Reminder.
posts?
Can we put that in the next mailing? Can we put that in the next quarterly mailing?
In the newsletter?
Yeah, in the newsletter.
Just, it's always a good reminder when the
Mhm.
springtime hits and,
I mean, that's what the pest guy said to me about the bugs.
yep.
It's time right now, you gotta get it done.
Okay. Do you have anything further? Council Vice President?
Nothing tonight.
Council President?
Matt, I'm sorry that he said that you were like his little brother. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate
You're
your
welcome.
concern.
But the look on your face was priceless.
Okay, and I have nothing further at this time. We do have executive session. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion,
With the deed.
Baldwin, second, shoot. How long did it take? 15, 10, 15? Let's say 15. Yeah.
15.
Just to be safe.
You can leave at 10.
Motion to recess into executive session for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship pursuant to KSA 754319B2, beginning at 7:41, returning to regular session at 7:56. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? We're in executive session. right, is there a motion to resume regular session?
So moved.
Second.
Give it to motion, McNear, second Shoot, we resume regular session, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, back in regular session. Moving to new business, item number 8. Consider an ordinance amending chapter 2.60.010 of the Gardner Municipal Code concerning the Board of Building Code Appeals.
So in the title, it should also reference 2.60.020 and 2.60.040. So I will cover this. This is an addition to your agenda for tonight. Under our codes enforcement section, there are procedural requirements for allowing individuals who've been cited with codes violations to have, in essence, due process rights. Those due process rights currently are set to go before the Board of Building Code Appeals. We are anticipating some code enforcement action, and because we don't have anyone appointed to that board, we are asking that the City Council adopt this ordinance, which would in essence allow for due process by allowing someone who was bringing an appeal of a code enforcement issue that they could come to the City Council and make their case, and then you all would sit as the adjudicated body. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Is there any public comment? Okay, council, any questions on this?
I assume if somebody did bring an appeal, it wouldn't be at a regular council meeting, it would be a separate meeting for the building code appeals, or does that even matter?
So that hearing can be evidentiary in nature, so it probably would make sense that we would specially set that.
Okay.
Because it would maybe take longer than we would want to do at a regular meeting.
Okay.
Is there a motion on this?
So moved.
Motion, McNear, second D. We adopt ordinance 2840, an ordinance amending chapter 2.60.010, 2.60.020, and 2.60.040 of the Gardner Municipal Code concerning the Board of Building Code Appeals.
Councilmember McNear.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Dean.
Yes.
Councilmember Wing.
Yes.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Ordinance 2840 passes. All right, that concludes regular session. We've done updates already. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Shoot. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?